In order to be successful in life, you have to cross a jungle.
The best way to achieve your dreams and get to the goals that you've set out for yourself is to start immediately. You need to go ahead and stop making excuses and say, I'll start tomorrow, or when I'm more comfortable, or when I have more money. Whatever the case may be, you need to stop making excuses and go ahead and put your foot down and start your goal. Start achieving the success that you want to achieve. It doesn't have to be a huge jump, just go ahead and begin the process. That can be as simple as waking up in the morning and writing down what it is you want to achieve. Because once you do that, you make that dream a reality by writing it down. You turn that dream into a pathway of life. You make it a plan for your future. All that by just simply writing it down makes your mind know that is what you want to do.
And then you take those principles and you improve, you learn, you change things.
You can think it and say it all you want, but once you put it on a piece of paper, it is now in the world. And so then you just have to figure out ways to start doing it. It doesn't have to be big. It can be by talking to somebody who knows whatever it is, or reading books about whatever you are passionate about, or figuring out ways to get involved in that community of people that know how to operate whatever it is you want to do. It's not complicated to get started, but you need to do it immediately, because the longer you put it off, the smaller chance of success you have. And if you want the greatest chance of success, you're going to start as soon as you possibly can and work on it as many days in a row as you can. Try to do it every day if possible.
It's not okay for you to not learn from those mistakes. That's a principle in there, right? My son in 2014 gave me a book, Joseph Campbell, and it was called Hero of Us, 1,000 Faces. It refers to the hero's journey. And this is like at the end of my experience. So a certain type of personality wants a taste for adventure. You go out and have the adventure. And then there are these ups and downs. You crash. You will have a failure. If you're adventurous and you're pushing the limits, you will have a failure. That failure can be a transformative experience. I have an expression that pain plus reflection equals progress. So they call it the abyss. Change, the learning of humility, to maintain your aggressiveness, your audacity, and to simultaneously learn humility. And that happened to me. You described it. I graduated from school. 2 years, I worked on Wall Street for 2 years. I got fired from my job, and 2 years later, I'm running my little company. 7, 8 years after that, I made terrible mistakes in the markets. I crashed, lost everything, made all those mistakes. And that was one of the most painful. Pain can be great because it changed my whole perspective to decision making. Is more important than almost anything. People don't understand this. And the reason I'm saying that, the way it is, it's almost like a casino making its money. The way that you do it is you get an edge. So now when you have to make a bet, view on something is reflected in the price. So when I think something is attractive or unattractive, that means I have to bet against the whole world and whether that's right or not. So when you can take a lot of different bets, and I'd say that's particularly true, important for the people who are listening, your investors. It's the most important thing that you could start off doing. If you have a number of equally good likely bets, but they're uncorrelated, like the casino, one table is going to make me a margin like this, but take another table and it makes me a margin like this, but I might have volatility about those. Let me take all those investments that I think will make 10%, so that's my return, but they're uncorrelated with each other. That means I'll still get the 10. I don't lower my 10, but my diversification means I lower my risk. And you have to understand your weaknesses as well as your strengths. And so people coming to that are almost of two types. And they're excited about that because they said, yes, I would like to know my weaknesses as well as my strengths. And I would like to be able to talk about anything and have it thrashed out, who it works for. But it takes getting used to, because when you're really talking about strengths, weaknesses, and differences in ideas, our brains have been programmed in a certain way, partially because of genetics and partially because of our environments, in which disagreement is thought of as producing a fighting type of reaction, or weaknesses are something that becomes a challenge for people to look at. Most companies hire for skills. I believe it should be the other way around. I look at their values. And values means, like, what are the motivations? What are the missions? Then you look at abilities. And abilities is the way of thinking. Is somebody a big picture thinker? Is somebody creative? And I want to put together a mix of those right people. So I decided, when I was young, early college, went to learn how to do it. Then it was life-changing. It works because it brings you into your subconscious mind. It gives one an equanimity, in other words, a centeredness, calm centeredness in the middle of a storm. And it gives one creativity. And it does that because the way it works is you have a mantra. And by repeating that in your mind, you leave your thoughts of thinking about this thing or that, and you go to that. And when you repeat it enough, it disappears, and you are now in your subconscious, in your subconscious state. You're not awake, and you're not asleep. That, from your subconscious, is where a lot of creativity comes by. It's like if you take a hot shower and the ideas come to you.
Thank you all so much for watching. Please go ahead and like and subscribe, and let us know what you thought down in the comment section below.